Welcome back to Peer-Guided DBT Lessons, provided by DBT's skills application, Peers Helping Peers. This lesson, marked 4-2 in our Interpersonal Effectiveness module, will be examining Part 2, Myth Breakers. Please keep in mind that we're simply peers helping peers, working together to bring about more peaceful, constructive, and ultimately happier lives. In other words, a life worth living. When we honestly question what we know about ourselves and the world, we typically find that our deepest assumptions are nothing more than a story we've been telling ourselves about how the world works. It ain't so much the things we don't know that get us into trouble, it's the things we do know that just ain't so. Mark Twain. If ignorance of the facts is a great aid to belief in myths, then discovery of the facts logically is the best myth breaker. What do we discover about the following myths that often reduce interpersonal effectiveness when they are checked with the facts? Now, let's look at some myth breakers. Myth number 1. Saying no to a request tells others that I am a selfish person. Point 1. Do I always say no? If I respond helpfully when I am able, and it's not a burden on me, does saying no this time say more about me or more about the situation? Point 2. Should I never say no? Will saying yes cause personal hardship? Trade off something I want to always give someone else something they want. Go against my values. Reduce my self-respect. Point 3. Is the request practical? Do I have the means and ability to say yes? And point 4. Is the request fair and reasonable? Would that person say yes to me if I asked them under reverse circumstances? Would they request the same of another person? If someone else refused the same request, would I think they were selfish? Myth number 2. I should be willing to sacrifice my own needs for others. Point 1. What are the circumstances? Is meeting the needs of the other or others actually what they need in this situation? If I help them with what they need, am I depriving them of a lesson in life that they need to learn? A sense of mastery as a result of meeting that need themselves. Point 2. Do I sacrifice my own needs so often that it is now expected? Do I over-sacrifice to earn love, validation, or approval from others? Do I sacrifice because I place a low value on myself? Do I sacrifice so often that I am teaching others not to value me and my needs? Point 3. Do I sacrifice my needs for the needs of others to the point that I am feeling empty? Am I getting enough of my needs met that I'm keeping my own bucket full? In other words, love, appreciation, validation, joy, relaxation, etc. Self-sacrifice is a noble thing if the gift is given because one wants to give it. But if a gift is given from a place of obligation, guilt, neediness, or a desire to win approval, it is not really a gift at all. Myth number 3. I don't deserve to get what I want or need. Point 1. What conditions must be met for a person to qualify as deserving to have their wants or needs met? What conditions do I feel others should meet before they would be acceptable to have their wants and needs met? If someone I love were to fall short of these standards, would I say that they should not have their wants and needs met? Point 2. What do I want for my children, family, and friends? Do I want them to value themselves? Would I encourage them to take care of themselves? Would I want them to work and give to others all the time? Wouldn't I want them to relax and have fun some of the time, even to pamper themselves when needed? Point 3. Let's take a look at the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This rule works both ways. Would I do unto others as I do unto me? Don't I deserve the same treatment I would want for others? It's time to do unto yourself what you would want for them. Myth number 4. It doesn't make a difference. I don't really care. Point 1. Am I telling this to myself concerning an opinion? Is this concerning something that is of no value to me, really means nothing at all to me? Is not caring easier to say because then I don't need to put energy and time into supporting it? Is not caring a protection from being disappointed if I let myself care and things don't work out the way I hope? Point 2. Am I telling others this? Am I telling others I don't care as a protection from the pain they could cause me? Am I telling others that I don't care to silence them? Am I saying this because I hold their opinion at little value? Is this statement invalidating to another? Point 3. Am I saying I don't care what others think of me? Do I think that if I say I don't care what others think, it means they can't hurt me? Would it bother me if others saw me as invisible? Don't I want people to think something of me? If I care what they think of me, do I need to please them? Will I have to sacrifice my own opinions if I care what they think of me? Myth number 5. Obviously, the problem is just in my head. If I would just think differently, I wouldn't have to bother everybody else. Point 1. Is it possible for me to just think differently? How should I be thinking in this situation? Is something getting in the way of me being able to think this out on my own? Am I able to remove this obstacle on my own? Does this problem call for effective problem-solving skills that I have never mastered? Point 2. How is this problem just in my head? Is this a problem that only affects me? Is this a problem relating to my personal emotional state? Point 3. How do I know that if I ask for help that it is a bother to anyone else? Have I been told that I am a bother? Am I mind-reading others' thoughts and feelings? If I was asked by another for help in a similar situation, would I feel it a bother? Is it possible that another person might actually feel honored, benefit, by being able to help? Myth number 6. Making requests is a really pushy thing to do. Point 1. Is making a request pushy, or is the way I tend to make requests what is pushy? When I ask something of another, do I ask in a way that makes it possible for them to say no? Do I have a tendency to become angry or pouty when someone chooses to deny my requests? Am I able to view a no response as about what the person is able or willing to do, rather than assuming it means they don't want to just because it is me doing the asking? Do I simply ask, or do I plead? Can I gracefully accept no as a response? Point 2. If making a request as a demand for what is rightfully mine, do I do it gently? Do I get rude or haughty when I am attempting to get something that is due me? Point 3. Do I make requests because I really need the help or to get out of doing things myself? Do I see it as pushy when someone asks me for something because they really need it? Point 4. Am I willing to help others when they ask of me? Is my balance scale for helping versus asking tipped out of balance? Myth number 7. I must be totally inadequate if I can't fix this myself. Point 1. Do I expect everyone I know to be equally competent in every field? Do I think of a veterinarian as an adequate specialist? In other words, don't they have skills that the average person doesn't possess? Would I think of a veterinarian as an inadequate individual if they were not able to do brain surgery on a family member if it were needed? Would I expect a brain surgeon to fix their car if it were in need of repairs? What if they said they didn't know the first thing about auto engines? Would that make them inadequate in our view? Would I expect any of these specialists mentioned to design and sew their own wardrobe? Would I think of them as inadequate if they could not? Point 2. Would I expect myself to be competent with any of these specialized tasks? Wouldn't I understand that training was required before I could master any of these skills? Does not being able to do brain surgery mean I am inadequate? Why do I think inadequacy is a reason for not being able to do or fix other things that I have not had the training for or not yet learned how to do? Myth number 8. I have to know whether a person is going to say yes before I make a request. Point 1. Does this mean that no matter how badly I need assistance, I would prefer to not get the help I need if I'm not sure ahead of time that the other person will say yes? How is a sacrificed want or need better than a simple answer no? If the other person says no, does that mean I should not wanted it or needed it? Is anyone a better judge of what I want or need than I am? If they say no, does that mean I was wrong to have asked? Can a person deny a request because they are not able to say yes without it meaning they don't want to? Myth number 9. I can't stand it if someone gets upset with me. Point 1. Do people only get upset with those who they think badly of, or those they think have done something wrong? Is it possible for someone to get upset with me when I have done nothing to cause their upset? Have I ever seemed upset when asked to help with something that I was unable to help with? Point 2. What is the worst that I will experience if someone does get upset? What about that can't I stand? Should I consistently do without to make sure I never upset anyone? Does it mean I was wrong if someone gets upset? Myth number 10. If I make a request, this will show that I am a very weak person. Point 1. What thoughts and fears did I examine to be able to make a request? 1. Saying no to a request tells others that I am a selfish person. 2. I should be willing to sacrifice my own needs for others. 3. I don't deserve to get what I want or need. 4. It doesn't make a difference. I don't really care. 5. Obviously, the problem is just in my head. If I would just think differently, I wouldn't have to bother everybody else. 6. Making requests is a really pushy thing to do. 7. I must be totally inadequate if I can't fix this myself. 8. I have to know whether a person is going to say yes before I make a request. 9. I can't stand it if someone gets upset with me. Point 2. Which of these beliefs are easy to look at closely and honestly? By looking at myself and my beliefs openly and honestly, and acknowledging what I am actually able to do and not do, I have proven to myself that I am not a weak person. My strength does not have to be seen by or acknowledged by anyone else for it to exist. Asking for anything from anyone takes a lot of strength. Be sure to check out the video description in the comments below. You'll find a link to the website lesson that accompanies this video. You will also find links to the handouts and worksheets created to complement this video. And while you're there, if you found this video helpful, be sure to like it. On behalf of Tasha and myself and our awesome peer-guided DBT lesson staff, we want to thank you for being a part of our video series. Next week in our Interpersonal Effectiveness module, we'll be examining prioritizing values. We hope to see you then.